We are live. Hello everyone. This is AD from Rubu Social and welcome to my Facebook Live. Today I'll share few things, share my findings and how to kind of thing on GDPR, how to implement GDPR. Before actually starting it off, I have a request for you. I'm planning to do this Facebook Live thing, a kind of a show, Facebook Live show more often in a more systematic and scheduled way. So I'm planning to do it fortnightly, that is every alternate week. I will pick a topic and we can discuss and I'll share my knowledge. So my request is I want you to share or tell me a few topics or what you want me to cover, or if you have any questions in specific. Some of the topics I have in my mind are marketing funnel, how to do Facebook advertising or Facebook algorithms and building your email list, etc, etc, etc. That but if you could share any specific topics or to cover, or you have any questions, or you want me to cover something, that would be of a great help, because I will know what exactly you're looking forward, and which will be, and I can do something which will be useful for you. Or you might be struggling with something or stuck with something, I'll be able to help you out. So, and coming back to this video, what is covered in this video is what is GDPR, to whom it is applicable, what should be done to for us, what should we do to get ready for GDPR, or how to get ready for this, and a few resources for your further study. Right? Let's dive in. And so starting off with what is GDPR? GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. It is a data privacy law created by Europe for the European people. And then why should we, the people living outside Europe, bother about it? We'll tell you that in a minute. So I'm just looking if there is anyone joining in, or, well, I could see something, but no comments. Well, fine. So yeah, the GDPR will replace, it is a data protection law. So it will replace their 1995 data protection law. This one is coming into force with significant changes from May 25th. So by May 25th or 25th of May 2018, everyone for whom this law is applicable should update their policies accordingly. So what this data protection law has is, it is basically data privacy law for the users, for the general public. So what this GDPR has? GDPR has details on how the data should be collected, the points to be mentioned in terms and conditions or privacy policies, and reporting the breaches, and users' rights and penalties for the organizations if violated. So it is for the people, for the organizations which this data privacy law mentioned as controllers or processors, uh, for them who collect the data of the users. So to whom it is applicable is, since it is a European law, it is obviously applicable to the organizations in Europe, but it is also applicable to the organizations outside Europe if the organization are marketing their products or services to the people in Europe, or monitoring the behavior of people in Europe, or tracking some information about Europe or the people in Europe. So when we sell or market our European to the European region, our products to the European region, we might obviously collect some personal data of them. So when we say the personal data of the data subject is any natural person there. And when we say the personal data of the data subject, law says, let me read out this one for you. Uh, um, any information related to an identified or identifiable natural person, that is the data subject. The information can be name, identification number, or location, or data of an online identifier. Or online identifier can be like an IP addresses or something, or to one or more specific factors like physical or psychological or genetic, mental, economic, cultural, or social identity of that natural person. Is it too complicated? Let me make it easy. The possible data we collect while people subscribe to our newsletters or sign up for our services. Or we might also collect the IP addresses, cookie identifiers, etc. We might do this through few tools like Google Analytics, because we might collect this information purely to offer them better services or have some data to do more targeted marketing. Whatever may be the reason, if we have the data, we need to comply to these GDPR rules. So is it clear till here? I hope you understand. Here is the data subject is a person or the natural identifiable person, people, and the data is the information we collect of that person, of the data subject. And please note this point, GDPR is not to restrict someone or restrict the organizations from marketing or collecting data of people, but to make sure we all have a proper transparency and do lawful actions, and giving a user a flexibility to know what an organization is doing with their data and to choose to opt out from the organization. This is a primary right any user should have. So GDPR is getting us on right track, both users as well as organizations. In fact, the more I learned about GDPR, I fell in for it. I have a lot of respect for it. So this video is, I'm making it to bring in some awareness and to you people and to make sure you know about GDPR. So it is to basically help to build a transparency and trust between users and both controllers and processors of data. So GDPR says both controllers and processors should update their documentation complying with GDPR. So controllers, who are controllers and processors first? Controllers are those organizations which collect personal data directly for their use. Example, an organization is collecting data from their customers, like email data, or it can be any other information while they subscribe to the newsletter or sign up for the service kind of. So processors are those organizations who collect data on behalf of controllers. So that means they have no right on the data, but only process data or store data according to the controller's instructions. So example is email marketing tool or a CRM tool. A controller should report within 72 hours if there is a data breach. So this is another important thing. So it is applicable to all these people who are living in Europe, organizations in Europe, and also organizations outside Europe who are offering services or selling products to European region or kind of collecting data about from the European people, European data subjects. So third point I would like to cover is user rights. This GDPR has rights for data privacy rights. So data privacy law has these rights for users. So now in this rights of users, a user means a data subject who can request access to their data anytime and get it for free. So a European data subject can request and access for the data you have about them. So unless a controller demonstrates the cost is excessive, the controller have to give it for free. And the time period the organization should give them the data is within 30 days. So when access request is applied by the data user, by the data subject, the controller should get back to them within 30 days. So, but also a few things have in favor of the organization, like they can refuse to give the data if it can prove the request is baseless or excessive, asking for excessive data more than what is required. So also user has a right to be forgotten. That means they have the right to ask the organization to delete their information anytime or update their information. So basically, as a data controller, we should make this easy. For example, there should be an opt-out or unsubscribe button in every email newsletter, the very common thing. I took this example because it's a very common thing, but there are a few other things as well. So like whenever a controller is collecting data from a data subject, there is a need to properly take the consent from the data subject, which should not be hidden consent. It should be clearly given, well informed and unambiguous. That is what it is written in the law. So controllers should also give a proper documentation that they are complying to GDPR. This sounds a little scary now, but there are huge penalties when not followed. Those are up to 20 million euros or 4% of an organization's global annual revenue, whichever is greater. So, but trust me, have proper policies written and update your data collection methods and everything will be fine. Right? So let's figure out what all possible things we need to update. A kind of checklist. I made a kind of checklist for you from my research. So first, the way you collect data. Second is about how you store and process data, and third is about what you should have in your documents and legal documents like terms and conditions and privacy policy. So the first one, the way you collect data. Have a proper consent written. So that means the possible data you might collect this is through subscription or sign up process, example landing pages or email subscriptions or sign up forms. So what we should do here is have a checkbox saying I confirm and want to receive your emails. So while someone is subscribing to your email newsletters, so where your data subjects have to check it before subscribing. And a second thing is have a double opt-in. That means once subscribed, send them an email asking to confirm the subscription. This is a kind of an additional protective measure, and it's a recommended one. So if you're collecting data more than an email ID, maybe the location or some sensitive information which is required for your product or service, have a proper checkbox asking them to give the consent for that they're willingly giving the information kind of. Well, that's ask for a proper consent. That is the first thing. Second thing in the checklist is about how you store and process data. You as a controller might use a processor, that is a third-party tool to store and process the data for you. So that processor can be like an email marketing tool or a CRM tool which you might be using. So please check it if these tools have updated and following GDPR. I see all the major tools are in the process and will be up and ready by 25th of May 2018. But also make sure you can easily export the data and give it to the user, because user has a right to access the request for access of the data, or update the data or delete the data. So you have to have an option to easily export and give the data to the user. And third one is have a properly updated privacy policy and terms and condition pages, which is very, very important. And they should have the following information: what personal information you collect, why and how you collect. So basically, you will be giving a list of kind of list for the in the terms and conditions or privacy policy documents, that what information you are collecting from the user and how and why you collected them, so that you are making sure you're not collecting unnecessary information and not without a proper consent. So how you use it and how you secure it is also should be mentioned. So to make it clear to data subjects on how their data is used and saved, so that they know the purpose and process that their data is secure with you. Now, if any third-party tools have access to it, that is another point you need to mention in your document. So to make sure you're taking enough measures to secure from data breaches. You know, the famous Facebook and Cambridge Analytica thing, right? But this GDPR thing have come even before Facebook breach thing happened. So this is not something related or not something because Facebook has that main thing came up and something, etc. This is even before that this law has come up, and the deadline was May 25th. So, and another thing you need to have in your terms and conditions and legal documents is if you use cookies to let them know the information collected, to be able to properly segment and provide right information while you're marketing your products. So what are the kind of cookies you have and what are the things you do it there. So the user rights and contact information. Mention how a user or data subject can contact you or contact a controller and request access to the data and process or update or to be forgotten. So user have these three rights, right? They can request access, they can ask you to delete it or ask you to update it. So you need to give a proper information how the user can contact you for this kind of this kind of information or access of the data in the legal documents. So all these documents should be in simple and clear language. That is very clearly written by the in the law, that it should be in a very simple and clear language, unambiguous, clear to the understandable in the data subject. So that is what in my mind, guys, and I want to let you know all this stuff. I will also place few good resources in the comments I found while I was doing my research. I'm sure this will be of good help to you to start off with GDPR. And I recommend to get these things done and have a proper system in place. It is not just about following the law, but when you look deep into it, you will realize how helpful these are. These things actually make us more systematic and live in a better online world, right? Because we are also users apart from controllers of this online world. So if you know if you know about inbound marketing concepts, you will see that GDPR law has a perfectly understood these concepts and these inbound marketing concepts, and making sure we have a rightful practices in place. And in fact, if we follow this process, these practices or GDPR law, it makes easy for us to create trust among our audiences or customers, so that we have a better process and system in place, kind of thing. So this is about what I want to share about the GDPR. So if you want, I want to quickly repeat the checklist kind of thing. So in the checklist, I would like to tell the first thing is the checklist is have a proper consent, have a proper take a proper consent, have maybe possibly have a double opt-in, or make sure your data processes or tools comply with the GDPR. Have a clearly written privacy policies in terms and condition documents and properly place them in your website on your website. And what these privacy policies and these documents should have is how you collect the data, what you do with the data, and how you store it, and what are the cookies you have, what are the online identifiers you collect, and what third-party tools have access to your data, and then the user rights and contact information. Yeah, this is the stuff. Make sure you have all this in place. That will be, trust me, that will be of a great help, having this system in place, because though you're not in European regions or not serving them, because this is what data privacy or data thing which a user always expects from you. And it's just that Europe has made it legal and wanted to make it easy for users. So I recommend to have it properly doing it, and I'm also working on it, and I'll have it properly set it up by the due date, the 25th of May 2018. I guess this is fine, and this is, I'm done with it. If you have any questions, I'm all in. Let me know. I'll also come back anytime later when I see a comment here and get back to you. And yeah, I'll share those resources in the comments, and I'll share those checklist kind of thing also. I'll put a write up there. So I hope this will be useful, and this is, I'm done for it. See you soon. And don't forget, I have a request for you in the beginning, right? I asked you to share with me what are the kind of topics or questions, if you have any, with specifically related to the digital marketing or inbound marketing, I would like to cover up in the future Facebook live sessions. Basically, I wanted to go with a specific topic, pick a particular topic and go deep into it. So you have everything properly sorted out, which you can which you can properly use it. It's just not a outline kind of thing, but a proper how to or action oriented stuff where you can probably get on the hands-on. So I would like to have topics list from you guys also, apart from I coming up with possible topics which will be possibly useful for you. Yeah, right. So this is AD signing off. See you again soon, very soon. I'll come up with a proper schedule and update you. Take care. Bye-bye.